What's going on, y'all? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. Time for another book review today, Book of the Dead. As always, thank you so much to Paizo for keeping me in free books. On and on evermore. If you're liking what you're seeing, remember to like, subscribe, ding the bell. Let's get spooky. Man, it's been like 5 years and I've always said let's dive in. That felt weird. Anyway, okie dokie, Book of the Dead. Where do I start with you? In the days of yore, I would imagine Book of the Dead would shake out something more like, a book about a quarter this size, maybe a third if we were lucky, with considerably less options to immediately precede a necromancy-themed adventure path for support for it, and in particular, to support a sub-theme or like optional mechanic that was prevalent throughout that adventure path. And yes, Bloodlords is right around the corner. But with that in mind, Book of the Dead is just so much more above and beyond the call of a supplement for those who want to dabble in the dark arts. We're talking everything from lore, from the lands of Golarion all over the place, to how necromancy functions, to archetypes for those who wish to slay the undead, to archetypes where you get to play the undead, to a very full bestiary, and even an adventure. Seriously, look at this map. Look how big this is. This is in the back of a supplement. That's wild to me. There are also several options in Book of the Dead for players who wish to play literal undead entities, anything from the skeleton ancestry to literal ghosts, vampires, ghouls, things of that nature. I definitely see myself picking through Book of the Dead and benchmarking these archetypes versus what they look like in bestiaries just to see how well they stack up. It's too much to talk about here. There's a bunch of sidebars floating around in Book of the Dead that are like, hey, we took out this ability because it would be very unbalanced. You can add it. Here's what would happen if you did. Which, honestly, I think is the best way to run that. It gives GMs who are more experienced the option to let the ghost have all of the ghost powers, and at the same time, for tables who are very new, something along the lines of, I think it was best explained to me as a ghost who still believes they're alive and therefore cannot ghost through the walls. There's also the Undead Eidolon for summoners who really wanted a ghost friend but also wanted the divine spell list. There's also skeletons and ghosts and vampiric things to slap on animal companions. The Undead Master archetype, which, might run around with something along the lines of a crawling hand. Oh, nope, I lied. It can't have a crawling hand. Heck. There's also the Undead Master archetype, which might run around with, say, a zombie in the same way a druid might run around with a wolf. Myriad familiar options, anything from that ghostly dachshund you've seen on Twitter, to a crawling hand, to a talking head for all you God of War stands out there. New magic items for the purposes of slaying the undead, a whole page dedicated to folk remedies to combat the restless spirits of them, which don't have any strict mechanical effects, but give GMs a, hey, yeah, should you happen to plant rowan trees entirely encircling a graveyard, it will protect the sleeping dead from, rising as the Walking Dead, dare I say. The book is incredibly full of just so many options, which continues to blow my mind. Again, in first edition, I would have expected this to be considerably smaller, be mostly dedicated to mechanics to support a coming adventure path, be something I would pick up, read through once, and then set down forever after I'd been done pulling the lore from it. So far as Book of the Dead goes, I definitely think that's going to be a different story, and thus it gets my wholehearted seal of approval. But what do y'all think? Are we excited for this? What are we rolling up? Tell me in the comments. As always, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time.